Do you ever hear about a game being released into the future and have it make you think about your own mortality? I experienced this a little while back with the announcement of Dragon's Dogma 2. Although I'm certainly excited about a sequel that I thought would never come, I've also experienced some strange feelings that came along with it. Here, I'll talk about 9 reasons why it and other release dates far into the future can strangely make you think about your own mortality. The first reason is time. When we hear about a game that won't be released for many years, it can create a sense of anticipation and excitement, but it can also be a reminder of our own mortality and the finite nature of our time on Earth. The fact that we may not be around to enjoy the game when it's finally released can be a sobering thought. This can lead to a greater appreciation of the time we have and a renewed commitment to making the most of it. We may be prompted to think about the things that are truly important to us and to prioritize our time accordingly. At the same time, the anticipation of a future game can also be a source of motivation and inspiration. It can give us something to look forward to and a reason to keep pushing forward even in the face of adversity or challenges. The second reason is uncertainty. When we hear about a game that is scheduled for release far into the future, it can create a sense of uncertainty and unpredictability about the future. We may wonder what our lives will be like when the game is finally released, or if we'll even be around to enjoy it. This uncertainty can be a reminder that we don't know what the future holds and that our time on this planet is not guaranteed. This sense of unpredictability can be both unsettling and inspiring. On the one hand, it can make us feel anxious or uneasy about the future. We may worry about what will happen to us or to the world at large in the intervening years. The unpredictability of the future can lead to fear of the unknown. We may worry about how our lives will change, what challenges we will face, and whether we will be able to handle them. This uncertainty can be overwhelming and can create feelings of anxiety and unease. On the other hand, this sense of unpredictability can also be a source of motivation and inspiration. It can remind us to make the most of the time we have and to pursue our goals and dreams with a sense of urgency and purpose. The knowledge that the future is uncertain can push us to make the most of the time we have and to focus on the things that truly matter to us. We may be inspired to take risks, pursue our dreams, and live our lives to the fullest, knowing that our time is limited. The third reason is legacy. We may wonder if we will be around to play the game when it finally comes out. This can be a sobering reminder and can prompt us to think about what we want to achieve in our lives and what we want our legacy to be. The fact that a game is scheduled for release far into the future can also prompt us to think about the impact we have on the world before we die. It can make us reflect on the mark we want to leave on the world and the people around us. We may ask ourselves questions such as, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of impact do I want to have on the world? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? These questions can be challenging and thought-provoking, but they can also be empowering. They can inspire us to live our lives with purpose and to make a positive impact on the world around us. They can prompt us to think about the things that truly matter to us and to focus our time and energy on the things that will make a difference. The fourth reason is long-term planning. When you hear about a game that won't be released for a while, it can prompt you to think about your own long-term plans and goals. For example, if you're planning to start a family or pursue a particular career, you may wonder if you'll have time to enjoy the game when it finally comes out. This can prompt you to reflect on your priorities and how you allocate your time. You may think about how you can balance your responsibilities and commitments with your hobbies and interests. Furthermore, hearing about a game that won't be released for many years can also prompt you to think about your own long-term plans and goals in general. You may consider what you want to achieve in the years ahead and what steps you need to take to make those plans a reality. You may set long-term goals for yourself, such as completing a degree, starting a business, or traveling the world. Thinking about your long-term plans and goals can be both exciting and challenging. It can be empowering to set goals and work towards achieving them, but it can also be daunting to think about the challenges and obstacles you may face along the way. The fifth reason is nostalgia. The announcement of a game that won't be released for years can create a sense of nostalgia. When you hear about a new game that won't be released for a long time, you may start to think back to previous games you've enjoyed and wonder if you'll be able to recapture that same sense of excitement and enjoyment when the new game is finally released. This can be a nostalgic and sentimental experience as you reflect on your past experiences with gaming and the memories associated with them. In addition, the announcement of a game that won't be released for many years can also prompt you to think about how gaming has changed over time. You may compare the new game to previous games you've enjoyed and consider how the gaming industry has evolved and transformed over the years. This sense of nostalgia can be both positive and negative. On the one hand, it can be comforting to think back to previous games you've enjoyed and the memories associated with them. On the other hand, it can be disappointing to think that you may not be able to recapture that same sense of excitement and enjoyment with a new game. The seventh reason is aging. When a game's release date is far flung into the future, it can remind us of our own aging. As time goes on, our bodies and minds undergo natural changes and may not function as they once did. When we hear about a game that won't be released for many years, we may wonder if we'll still have the same level of physical or mental ability to enjoy the game when it's finally released. This can be a sobering thought, as it reminds us that our physical and mental abilities may decline over time. Furthermore, the announcement of a game that won't be released for many years can also prompt us to think about the passage of time and the changes that occur over the course of our lives. We may reflect on how much time has passed since we first started playing video games and how our tastes and interests have changed over the years. Thinking about our own aging and mortality can be both challenging and motivating. It can prompt us to consider how we want to spend our time and prioritize our activities. It can also encourage us to take care of our physical and mental health so that we can continue to enjoy the things we love as we age. The eighth reason is regret. The news of a game that won't be released for many years can also create a sense of regret about missed opportunities in the past. When we hear about a game that won't be released for many years, it can prompt us to think about previous games we've missed out on or experiences we've passed up. We may wonder if we'll have similar regrets about the new game when it's finally released. This can be a particularly challenging thought, as it can bring up feelings of sadness or disappointment about missed opportunities in the past. We may regret not having more time to play the games we loved or not taking more chances to try new experiences. We may also worry about missing out on future opportunities if we're not able to play the new game when it's released. However, it's important to remember that we can't change the past, but we can make choices in the present that help us feel more fulfilled and satisfied with our lives. We can prioritize the things that bring us joy and make time for the experiences that matter most to us. And when the new game is finally released, we can choose to approach it with an open mind and a sense of excitement rather than dwelling on missed opportunities. The ninth reason is memory. We might ask ourselves how we will be remembered by others who do get to enjoy the game. This can lead us to reflect on our lives and the impact we have had on the world around us. We may ask ourselves questions like, what have I accomplished in my life? How have I made a positive impact on others? What kind of memory do I want to leave behind? These are important questions that can help us clarify our values and priorities and motivate us to make the most of the time we have. At the same time, it's important to remember that our legacy isn't solely defined by the things we leave behind. Our impact on the world can also be felt through the relationships we build, the kindness we show to others, and the memories we create with loved ones. Overall, when a game's release date is far into the future, it can remind us of our own aging and mortality. It can prompt us to think about the passage of time and the changes that occur over the course of our lives, and to consider how we want to spend our time and prioritize our activities. However, sometimes the wait is worth it. When we get our hands on the game, it's everything we expected and more. We might be tempted to call this a masterpiece. But what is a masterpiece? To learn more about that, click on the next video.